Well, let's begin with the facts. The fact is that the deal is working. All of Iran's potential pathways to a nuclear weapon, whether uranium, plutonium, covert, otherwise, have been eliminated, verifiably so. And that is not disputed by the IAEA, nor by the U.S. intelligence community, nor by the U.S. Defense Department. And as you suggested, even the elements of the Israeli military and security services are well aware that this deal is functioning as intended. So we've gone from a situation before the deal where Iran had no intrusive inspections and verification. It was 2 to 3 months away from having the material to develop a nuclear weapon, to today, when all those pathways have been verifiably cut off, and where Iran has committed in perpetuity not to develop a nuclear weapon, and where we will have the ability for many, many years going forward to verify what Iran is up to. If we were to blow that up, and I do think that a U.S. withdrawal would in all likelihood, if not immediately, then eventually blow the deal up, because that means the reimposition of our sanctions that were lifted with respect to its nuclear program. It means that we will be completely isolated from our European partners with whom we worked to get this deal and with whom President Trump engaged in a flirtation over the last several months to try to so modify, or as he would say, improve the deal. And, you know, that has not come to pass. We've not really invested very seriously in that, and we've now got at Trump's side in Mr. Bolton and Mr. Pompeo extremely harsh critics of the deal who have sworn to its destruction. So I believe that what's going to happen is we will, in all likelihood, reimpose sanctions, hence violating our obligations. We will be at odds with our closest allies. Iran will be in a position to say quite truthfully that they upheld their obligations and the United States did not, and therefore they are not constrained by the commitments they made under the deal. That would leave them free, if they chose, to resume their nuclear program and to pursue it without constraint. We will have lost the very robust sanctions regime that we all worked very, very hard to put into place, that was global in its application. Whatever sanctions the U.S. may reimpose does not mean that our European partners and Iran's other trading partners will go along. In fact, one can be certain that they won't, because they were a means to an end, which was diplomacy. And then finally, we will have done this on the eve of the president's presumed discussion with Kim Jong-un, where allegedly the objective is denuclearization of North Korea, which really does have already a lot of nuclear weapons. It sends a message that the United States is inconstant, that when we sign a deal and it's ratified even by the United Nations Security Council unanimously, we're prepared to walk away on a whim, even when it's being fully implemented. So I think it's a disaster from virtually every dimension. And all it does is strengthen the hardliners in Iran, who didn't like this in the first place. And it means that the other activities that Iran is involved in that we find so reprehensible, its support for extremists, its meddling in neighboring countries, its ballistic missile program, etc., are now potentially able to be augmented by a threat and a potentially credible threat of an Iran returning to nuclear weapons research and potentially production.
So I want to